Are you thinking about buying a truck in 2025? Well, hold that thought, because not all trucks are created equal. Some look tough, some sound powerful, and some promise futuristic technology, but when the rubber meets the road, they fall apart in the most painful ways. Today, we're exposing 10 trucks Consumer Reports ranks among the worst for 2025. Trucks that sound good on paper, but in reality, they're unreliable, overpriced, or downright dangerous. If you're shopping smart and want to avoid wasting your hard-earned cash, stick around. By the end of this video, you'll know which trucks to steer clear of and why. When Ford announced the F-150 hybrid, it sounded like the holy grail of pickups, the power of America's best-selling truck, combined with modern fuel efficiency. But owners quickly learned a harsh truth. This truck is an experiment gone wrong. Consumer Reports gives it a jaw-dropping reliability score of 7 out of 100. That's not just bad, that's catastrophic. Drivers report constant transmission failures, hybrid system glitches, and battery problems so expensive that repairs can cost nearly as much as a used truck. Many say it spends more time at the dealership than in their driveway. Yes, on paper it looks great. 25 miles per gallon, 12,000 pounds of towing, adaptive cruise control, and all the modern tech Ford can cram in. But what's the point if it's undependable from day one? And here's the kicker. Some owners joke online that Ford's "Built Ford Tough" slogan now feels more like "Built Ford Stuck" in the service bay. But if you think Ford's hybrid struggles are bad, wait until you see what Chevy has cooked up with their midsize lineup. The Colorado used to be the go-to midsize truck for people who didn't need a giant F-150. Affordable, practical, and versatile. But the 2025 Chevrolet Colorado, it's falling apart. Consumer Reports slapped it with a 15 over 100 reliability score. Owners complain about engine failures, transmission slipping, and electronic glitches that leave them stranded. And here's the worst part. Dealerships often can't replicate the issues, so frustrated owners keep coming back with no solution. It's a nightmare loop of wasted time and mounting repair bills. Sure, Chevy still advertises features like the turbo diesel option, 7,700 pound towing, and off-road trims. But what good is an off-road package if you can't trust the truck to start in the morning? Many frustrated buyers are quietly trading in their Colorados for alternatives like the Honda Ridgeline, which might look softer but delivers consistent reliability. But here's the twist. If the Colorado is bad, its upscale cousin might be even worse. Think of the GMC Canyon as the Chevrolet Colorado wearing a suit. Same bones, slightly fancier materials, higher price tag. But guess what? Underneath, it's plagued by the same failures. Consumer Reports scores it 15 over 100 for reliability. Engines failing, transmissions glitching, and infotainment screens freezing are all too common. And because the Canyon positions itself as a premium alternative, the repair bills hurt even more. You're not just paying for fixes, you're paying for fixes on a so-called luxury mid-sized truck. It's proof that slapping leather on the seats doesn't erase the fact that the mechanical foundation is crumbling. And while GMC tried to dress up its problems, Honda took a different approach, ditching the rugged image entirely. But that didn't exactly go over well either. Honda calls the Ridgeline a truck, but truck purists call it something else, a crossover with a bed. Built on a unibody platform instead of the traditional body-on-frame design, the Ridgeline drives more like a CR-V than a Tacoma. Comfortable? Sure. Tough? Not even close. Owners complain about its weak towing capacity, lower payload than rivals, and the fact that it just doesn't feel like a real truck. And here's the sting. The Ridgeline costs nearly as much as a full-size pickup. Consumer Reports ranks it below average for owner satisfaction, with many calling it boring and overpriced. It's the truck for people who don't really need a truck. And when you're spending this much money, that's a hard pill to swallow. But while Honda is struggling to convince buyers, Kia jumped into the pickup market for the very first time, and the results aren't great. When Kia announced the Tasman, truck fans were curious. Could Kia actually compete in this brutal segment? Well, the answer so far, not really. The Tasman is brand new, and like many first-generation vehicles, it's riddled with early problems. Owners report software glitches in the infotainment system, random smartphone connectivity issues, and a suspension that feels overly stiff and uncomfortable. Instead of being the comfortable, capable truck Kia promised, the Tasman feels like a rushed project. Many buyers are already saying, wait until Kia figures this out in a few years. And while Kia stumbled out of the gate, Hyundai Santa Cruz went for a bold, stylish design. But style doesn't mean substance. The Santa Cruz turned heads when it launched, a pickup that looks like an SUV, with urban appeal and clever design. But by 2025, owners are frustrated. The biggest issue? Transmission failures. Some report the truck refusing to shift, jerking violently, or even getting stuck between gears. Dealers often shrug because they can't replicate the problem. Add to that poor rear visibility, weak base headlights, and no hybrid option, and you've got a truck that looks cool, but struggles with basics. It's the definition of style over substance. And speaking of outdated substance, let's talk about Nissan's midsize dinosaur. The Frontier used to be the no-nonsense workhorse of midsize trucks. Cheap, reliable, and simple. But the 2025 Frontier, it's dragging its feet. Consumer Reports gives it a 27/100 reliability score. Owners complain about rattling interiors, infotainment systems crashing, and build quality that feels more like a budget compact than a tough truck. Yes, it still offers a strong V6 and can tow up to 6,700 pounds. But when the competition, especially Toyota's Tacoma, delivers better reliability and modern features, the Frontier feels like a relic. And that's the problem. Nissan hasn't pushed this truck forward. It's stuck in the past, while the rest of the market races ahead. But Nissan doesn't just have one truck problem. It has two. The Ram 1000, 500 has long been praised for its smooth ride and luxurious interiors. But in 2025, it's running into serious trouble. A recall affecting 33,000 trucks was issued over stability control problems. If the wheel hub or coder rings get damaged, the system can fail, putting drivers at risk. Owners are also reporting headaches with the Uconnect infotainment system, frozen screens, random restarts, even total failures requiring the truck to be shut off and restarted. And then there's the new Hurricane engine. Early adopters say their check engine light popped on within the first few hundred miles, with dealers unable to give clear answers. For a truck that sells itself on refinement and comfort, these reliability concerns are a deal breaker. But Ram's problems pale in comparison to Nissan's full-size flop. Remember when Nissan tried to compete with Ford and Ram in the full-size market? That was the Titan's job. But by 2025, the Titan is basically a ghost. The design is outdated, the towing is unimpressive, the fuel economy is mediocre, and the interior feels stuck in 2015. Owners complain about cheap plastics, clunky infotainment, and a lack of innovation. And here's the death blow. Nissan announced they're discontinuing the Titan. That means parts availability, dealership support, and resale value are all in question. Why would anyone sink money into a truck that even its manufacturer has given up on? But believe it or not, there's one truck doing even worse, a truck that had all the hype in the world only to collapse under its own promises. When the Maverick launched, it was hailed as the truck of the future. Compact, affordable, fuel efficient, the people's pickup. But by 2025, it's a cautionary tale. Owners report braking failures, pedals going soft, inconsistent stopping power, and terrifying moments where the truck just doesn't respond as it should. Even worse, multiple reports surfaced of water leaks inside the cabin. One owner found black mold growing under the dashboard because a section near the windshield wasn't sealed properly from the factory. Imagine buying a brand new truck, only to deal with mold infestations. Consumer Reports ranks it among the lowest for owner satisfaction, with many calling it cheaply built and untrustworthy. And this was supposed to be Ford's affordable answer for city buyers. Instead, it's a rolling reminder that sometimes cheap comes at a very high price. So what's the takeaway? The badge on the grille doesn't guarantee reliability. Big names, flashy tech, futuristic designs, none of that matters if the truck can't hold up in the real world. From hybrids that break down to EVs that stumble, to outdated models on life support, these 10 trucks prove that hype can't replace durability. If you're shopping in 2025, do your research. Don't just trust marketing slogans. Look at long-term data, owner reviews, and reliability scores before you buy. And if you've had a truck horror story of your own, drop it in the comments below. We want to hear it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned, because we'll keep pulling back the curtain on the cars and trucks that don't deserve your money.